Hi kids, it's Mrs. Bishop again, and I want to introduce you to one of my favorite childhood books. It was the book that I made my mom read to me probably every day through first and second grade. I loved it. I had amazing teachers in first and second grade, so this book was so funny to me because it's all about this evil substitute teacher that comes in, and then the kids learn to appreciate their teacher. So I'm going to read it to you. It is called Miss Nelson is Missing, and it is awesome. So let's start. It says, the kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling, paper plates whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school. See that picture? There's Miss Nelson sitting at her desk with those rotten students. Now, settle down, Miss Nelson said in a sweet voice. But the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces at her. And they were even rude during her story hour. And they always refused to do their lessons. Something will have to be done, said Miss Nelson. So the next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. Wow, yelled the kids. Now we really can act up. They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. Today, let's just be terrible, they said. Not so fast, hissed an unpleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp. And she rapped the desk with her ruler. Where's Miss Nelson? asked the kids. Never mind that, snapped Miss Swamp. Open those arithmetic books. Miss Nelson's kids did just as they were told. They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away, she put them to work, and she loaded them down with lots of homework. We'll have no story time today, said Miss Swamp. Keep your mouths shut, said Miss Swamp. Sit perfectly still, said Miss Swamp. And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry, said Miss Swamp. The kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids missed Miss Nelson. Maybe we should go and try and find her, they said. So some of them went to the police. Detective McSmog was assigned to the case. He listened to their story and he scratched his chin. He said, I think Miss Nelson is missing. Detective McSmog would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades were tightly drawn and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swamp coming up the street. If she sees us, she'll give us more homework. And they got away just in time. Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson. Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark, said one of the kids. But that didn't seem likely. Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid. But that didn't seem likely either. I know, exclaimed one know-it-all. Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried off by a swarm of angry butterflies. But that was the least likely of all. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back, and they would be stuck with Miss Viola Swamp forever. Forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. "Here comes the witch," they whispered. "Hello, children," they heard some sweet voice say. It was Mrs. Nelson! "Did you miss me?" she asked. "We certainly did," cried all of the kids. "Where were you?" "Well, that's my little secret," Miss Nelson said. "Well, how about a story hour?" "Oh, yes," cried the kids. And Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly. "What brought about this lovely change?" she asked. "And that's our little secret," said the kids. And look at all of their good manners and smiles and kind faces. Well, the end says, well, back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it up in the closet right next to the ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. "I'll never tell," she said to herself with a smile. P.S. Detective McSmog is working on a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola Swamp. Do you think he'll find her? The end. I hope you loved this book. Again, it's my absolute favorite childhood book from 1st and 2nd grade about appreciating the teachers you have and having good manners and just having a great time in school. I hope you enjoyed this Read Aloud book from Mrs. Bishop's Library. Have a great day.